I take belly dance classes, and or this upcoming performance is for Halloween.
If you're doing this, be smart. Don't be stupid. I know we all want to get up in a tree and do it as cheaply as possible. Welcome to Time by the Tent, another weekend here up at the land. Just got here, gonna get lunch going, gonna have BLTs. We've got bacon cooking on the grill, or over the fire. We don't use it in a cast iron because it's just gonna drip the oil and grease and it's fine. And lettuce, mayonnaise, and tomatoes, which has been cut the correct way. Holly seems to like to hack them any way she has them in her hand. So I grew up, that is the correct way in order to cut tomatoes. We've put our flag up from emflag.com. Very nice day, though it is about 80 degrees. Third weekend of bow season. I'll be going out later to a stand that I don't know if they're giving free deer treats out underneath it. But very active this week. Stand 1, I've been in stand 2 is the one that was harvested all the deer last year. And last year I only saw 2 deer off of this stand. So we've had 2 bucks Monday morning at 7:20. Wednesday night we had at least 2 does. Friday night we had a nice 1.5 year 6 or 8 pointer, couldn't really tell. Friday evening, yeah. So I've got to tend to the bacon here, and we will get our weekend underway.
Come on. The bacon's on fire. Fire bacon.
There's mine. You're making yours.
Yep.
Quite a lot of mayonnaise, but
You like a lot of mayonnaise
I know.
too.
Just the distribution on some condiments are a little rough. Like half a bottle of mustard or something. But this is good ratio here for our BLTs.
Okay, go.
All right, so we'll continue the tradition. Last year we started with deer camp sign. We started with the Peaceful Pine sign that Holly made. Then we had the deer camp sign. In the spring we had turkey camp. Last year we didn't have this sign, but we're going to create it and then put a placard for bow camp, even though it's just a club of 1 right now. Holly hasn't decided she wants to hunt yet, and there's nobody else. So bow camp established in 2023, and then we have the little placard that each year will be a different color that we will hang up here. And this will stay up until deer camp, which is the firearm season here in Wisconsin. So bow camp, though it started 3 weeks ago, is officially underway. One way I found to clean the tent and around the campsite, you want to get rid of some light leaves. Certainly drive the drone around. Until the home point gets updated. Also a good way to stoke the fire too if you need a little help on that. I'm not going to do that right now. And it works good blowing the leaves off the tent. Or if you've got a cabin, that on a light leaf coverage, this would work very well too. All right, 74, but I got to go out because you can't shoot anything when you're sitting in the tent. And I'm sitting here sweating already, but it's supposed to get down to 49 tonight, so we'll see if that transition between now 74 and 49, if I can, if something will happen underneath that stand where we've seen the bucks and the does all this week. So I will see you out in the tree stand. About 4:20. 4:23. It's a warm 74 degrees. Now, you can see in the pictures where these deer walked this last week underneath this stand. Trail camera is right 6 feet to your left. They just kind of been all in this area down here. Obviously the angle of shooting is more challenging with a bow because of the exit to get both lungs. So you can't shoot like straight down. It's not a good ethical shot. So we'll see what we can make happen here. Oh, the warmest day of the week. I'll be in the stand tomorrow morning as well.
Okay, so Joey's in the tree stand, and so I've just been doing random things. I take belly dance classes, and there's a couple times a year where I get to dance as a student or perform as a student. I mean, and so this year or this upcoming performance is for Halloween. So I made this hip scarf with fringe. It's like a velvety fabric. It moves really nicely, flows really nicely. So I worked on that. I then chopped veggies. It's gonna get dark soon, so I decided to chop these before it got dark and before Joey comes back. Um, so that's what I've been up to. It's it's a beautiful day. It's actually warmer here in the Northwoods than where we're from in Milwaukee today, which was different, unexpected, I guess. And yeah, it was like close to the upper 70s. So, and it's about to get dark in about a half an hour, and it's still in the 70s. So that's where we're at.
Well, didn't see anything, but heard one. Legal hunting time was 6:10 or 7:10, and at 7:05, 35, give it 40 yards in front of me, which you can't see at that point. 5 minutes before legal hunting end of time, you can't see anything except for what's right, within 10 yards of you. And I heard something come in, and you could hear it, distinctly know it was a deer walking, and then it stomped. I don't know how, if it saw me, which I don't know how it would have. It was almost completely dark. If it smelled me, which I don't know how it could have. There was no wind moving. But it didn't like something. It stomped twice, and then you could hear it run back out from the way it came, and then it snorted twice, and then it trotted a little bit more, and then that was it. I went ahead and climbed down, because at that point hunting time was over. But as I climbed down, I hooted like a barred owl 3 times as I descended from the tree, just for the off chance maybe he or it, a doe or whatever it was, whatever type of deer it was, would hear that and think otherwise, like maybe I misjudged it. I don't know. So I think it was that stand, and I think it was this weekend a year ago that coming in on the left-hand side, there was a deer or two that snorted and blew and then trotted off. I'd have to check video, but I think that it was right around this time frame as well. So that's the story, and we'll go out to that stand again in the morning, since that has been the most active stand, and see if we can get something to walk in and be curious enough to stay put until I fire an arrow at it. So we're going to have a supper, and it's barbecued chicken and vegetables, and I got to get the fire going, and we'll go from there. Alright, so we've got the, what is this, chicken tenders or
Chicken strips.
chicken strips, and then potatoes and a little bit of summer squash. And like we did last time, we brought the floor lamp out, hooked it out to the power station. Makes it a lot easier cooking than trying to do it with a flashlight in one hand and making sure everything's cooked right. So works out very well this way. So we'll try it again in the morning. If nothing else happens, I will see you in the tree stand in the morning, and the same stand we'll try to see if we can get a deer. Well, looks like another no-go for today. Didn't hear anything this morning. It was really quiet for quite some time. 48 degrees this morning. Saturday night, 35 or 36 for a low. So that'll really get the leaves to drop, really put a chill in the air. It may help accelerate some of seeing some deer. Alright, so back at camp. Again, nothing was seen. Breakfast, already got burn count 1 for the day. Touched the pan where I shouldn't have with the glove. We're having hash browns with those chicken sausages, eggs, and then you're having coffee. So I think this is going to be the last warm weekend that there's going to be, because next week is supposed to be 39, 38 for low and like low 60s for highs. So that's where we're at. I'm going to head out to the stand, try to find a tree stand to put a new stand in, or tree, after I eat breakfast. So that's our day so far. Alright, out to look for a tree. I've got a tree picked out that I've seen doing the drone. Now whether that is a good tree or not, but it gives me an area to start with. So it's kind of a deer hunting and tree stand type of weekend here. Not much different than the last couple of weeks, but that's the time of year in which we are in. There's the first pallet blind. Everything looks fine. That I built middle of the summer, hottest day of the year. Looking down this old logging road. And that has really grown in up there. So I'm wanting to go in that way, but this logging road kind of curves around and saves me a lot of travel, so I can cut my way out basically. So that's the plan. Okay, so I am way back in our property. There's the tree. I think it's an aspen of some sort. That tree is not big enough for a tree stand, which I didn't know if it would or would not be. So now you can see what I'm dealing with here. There's little pockets of openings here and there. So I'm going to head that way, which is camp, and then see if I can find a tree in the vicinity, because I'm about 80-ish yards off the back side of the property, or the property line on the back side. So I really don't like, well, number one, some of these pine trees are too small, like that one there maybe, but you can see just the tremendous amount of stuff you got to trim out to get a stand up in there, which I know some people love pine trees, cedar trees for cover scent. I just don't like hanging the stands in them, but I'll see what I can find and I'll let you know when I get to something that appears to be a good tree and present some type of shooting opportunity of some sort. Okay, so what I have discovered, I'm not sure how many yards I'm away from that blind that I showed you. I think it's probably about 70 yards that way. Anyway, what I've got here is an opening, not as thick as it once was where I showed you previous. I've got some type of pretty predominant trail coming through here, going that way. So, of all the trees I see here, I don't want to be stuck in something like in this area here. That tree there, it's a pine tree, cedar tree, whatever you want to label it as, appears to be the best option that I've got. That would give me about a 15-yard shot to that trail if something walks through. I think something is coming through here, kind of an opener area. You got a lot of open range over there. So, yes, there is a lot of limbs that need to be cut, because I would want to get about right there, about 20 feet up is where I'm wanting to get. So, I'm going to mark this tree. Well, I'll mark this tree here, just so it saves tape on this wild red cherry. And then start cutting a path based on my GPS coordinates and the map I'm using. GIA, G-I-A, GPS app. I track a lot of the trips I make in here. I track and see where I've been. And I've pretty much covered a lot of the area. So, that tree there is, I just put my hand on it and it fell down. So, okay, that's out of the way. Okay, so we have a candidate here. And certainly this would be an evening stand because I'm not familiar enough to get in here in the middle of dark. Usually I would like to set up on a stand 2 or 3 times in the afternoon until I'm familiar mentally with the path and kind of mashed down enough to where I can come in the morning and not be lost, basically. Even though I've got trail markers, I like to have familiarity in the darkness. So I will start cutting trail and kind of show you where I'm at in a few moments. Okay, you can see my marker there, and if you look way down there, 60 yards, 70 yards, you can see that pallet blind. And then camp is that way 100 yards across the trail. And then this here is in my access point, and I can get into that stand. I'm still learning the path. It goes through there, and the stand is about 50 yards from where I stand. So, not precisely where I wanted it, but this may be the opportunity that I need, because this is an access point here, and when we've had the camera on that blind down there, early in July and August, obviously patterns will change. There was always a deer 2 or 3 times a week down there. In here, there's paths in which they travel throughout the property. So we'll see if this is going to be beneficial. I'm going to go and get the steps and the saw and the stand and try to get this all hung up in one move and then get out of here. And I'm not certain. I don't have an additional trail camera to put on that to see if anything's moving through. This will just have to be a next week, whether I come up on Friday or Saturday and hunt in the evening and see if anything materializes. And being this easily accessible compared to where I thought it was going to be, I could come in here in the morning, because I'm very familiar with this area. I wasn't familiar with as deep as I was when I was looking initially, when I showed you that what I believed was an aspen tree way back off the back property line. So I've got 3 tree stands in the storage tent, and I should be utilizing them. I've got steps for all of them. They ain't going to do any good in the storage tent, that's for sure. So, okay, after about an hour and a half, hour plus, Well, I've got it installed. This is why I hate putting stands in these pine trees. Basically, you gotta, you know, go up and trim each one of them off in order to climb up it, because as you saw earlier, I mean, just one branch after another, and they're so weak that it just, I mean, this is a poor example, but you put any weight on these at all, they just break. So the base is good, but as you get farther out, it's unsafe. So then I took chainsaw, which was unsafe, but was able to trim a whole bunch of them off in one big swoop without using the bow saw. So I got to go back up there. I've got one step holding under the chain. I want to put 2 steps in the chain. I'll show you that when I get up there and show you what it looks like. Now, whether this is come up here Friday afternoon or Saturday afternoon, sitting here and boom, 3 deer walk by and get one of them, I don't know, or this stand may sit here for years with zero activity. Once I get this done, get this cleaned up here, I'm going to go back and then before we leave today, I'm going to go over and get the camera from the stand in which I was in this morning and last night, and probably pick a spot here. Probably put it on this tree here, or that tree there, facing that way, and see if I can catch any activity, because that seems to be the active trail. First of all, see if I get a signal over here, which I think I may be able to, since I'm so close to that ground blind, in which had a good signal when we had the camera over there. Anyway, let me get up there and I'll show you what we do. Okay, it's only about 75 degrees. So I am approximately, I'm going to guess, 16 feet in the air, 14 to 16 feet. I'd like to get about 22. That's the height that I'm in that stand this morning. But this tree doesn't allow it. I mean, I could have gone up a few more feet, but it's starting to get more and more, limbs there. And you can see here how this kind of conforms a little bit. Fits your back perfectly. I could sit in this stand all day long, not have to move. It is by far, outside of, I've never been in a tree lounge, by far the most comfortable tree stand that I have sat in, just due to the fact that this tree is curved just right for your lumbar. So, I'll show you what I did with the steps. These steps, the threads are, this chain is smaller links than the other ones that I've got. So normally I put the threads or the step inside the threads, or the step inside of the chain, and screw it into the tree. I forget what the name of this is. Had it and lost it. Chain link. And then fix it through the threads and into the tree. So if so the stand doesn't slip. These threads and these chain links the chain links are too small. So instead of trying to force it through and compromising the weld, which would weaken the chain and put me in very unhealthy situation by falling, I have put it directly underneath and then put the step vertical or upside down so it doesn't slip. If I had it this way, it's just going to slide right off. It's not going to do you any good. So I think that makes sense. But everything you do, even though Holly's 80 yards that way, and even if we were close to anywhere for help, I'm not wanting to get hurt. And every step and every move I make, especially hanging these tree stands, you got to think 3 steps ahead and take a half a step forward, because there's no room for error and no option for injury, because if you fall from one of these, I know people survive, but it's not a good ending, even if you do survive. So let me get down, and that's why when I hunt, I always wear a safety harness. Now, when I hang stands, I don't, because it just gets hung up on everything. So this tree stand is done. Let me show you what I've got over here. I've got a shooting lane there. I've got a shooting lane between those trees. I've got a shooting lane here, down there, back there. I could wiggle through there if I needed to, possibly right there. Underneath is not an option because it's the angle is too great. Right through there is that trail. I am going to trim this limb here and get rid of that so I have a clean shooting range. And then that is that. And this tree stand is complete. Didn't use all the steps. I had it judged for about 22 feet, so I got extra steps. But don't compromise on the steps. I got these on Marketplace for $1 a piece a year ago. Never did use them. Multiple different sizes. But like I said, around the chain here, make sure you put plenty. I've got 2 up here. I've got for holding, for grabbing on and stepping onto the platform, not reaching for the platform. You want to step onto the platform so you're not dislodging the stand from the tree, and then you got a whole other mess on your hands. If you're doing this, be smart, don't be stupid. I know we all want to get up in a tree and do it as cheaply as possible, but spend the extra $10, $15 so you don't have to spend the $8,000 or $25,000 for a hospital bill. All right, I'll see you back at camp.
So I've just got a fire started for lunch. Joey's been working on this tree stand. I'm just admiring the beauty of the changing of the colors. I think one of my favorite things has been with owning land has been feeling the change of the seasons, especially from spring to summer to fall. It's pretty warm this weekend, but you can tell as the sun goes down, you can feel that coolness of fall coming in. And I don't think you can, I'm not sure if you can see the colors as vibrantly as I can, but still beautiful. So Joel will be back soon and we'll be having some lunch.
For lunch, we had hot dogs and baked beans. Did not show you that. You know what that looks like. I have retrieved the camera, trail camera, underneath the stand in which I hunted this morning. Moving it to the stand that you just saw me put up. See if there's a signal. And then in the woods activities will be completed for the weekend. Alright, got it set up, waiting for a signal, a notification. There's the tree right there with the stand. What I think is a nice trail there, or some type of trail. And then some activity here. So we'll see what this week brings on that camera. Alright, to give you some reference, that is the stand we just put up. This is the blind that I referenced earlier, and if 2 people were sitting in those locations, I don't think, based on the thickness of the woods, that you would see each other. Maybe if the wind was blowing just right and the trees swayed. But anyway, I'm the only one hunting out here. So yeah, I was way back here when we looked at that tree and I said it wasn't big enough. What we think was, I think, was an aspen of some sort. That was back in this area, because I had walked up to here and then walked across and then walked back down into here. So that is a reference, so you know what a little more of what's going on visually. To conclude the weekend's festivities, made another VHS DVD holder. This will hold 5 VHS on the top and 5 on the bottom. I still have a pile of hunting VHS that I purchased that are sitting on the floor, so this will go in combination with all the other hunting videos, DVDs, and VHS that I've got. So I still think I need one more. I still need one more after this in order to get everything picked up that it was in that allotment that I purchased. So this continues. I'll have to go see if I can find another tree at some. Well, that will do it. Another weekend here up the land. Weekend 3 of deer bow camp, deer season. So nothing yet. Let's put stove, S-T-O-V-E, in the comments below. Let me know if you made it this far. We had to light the stove last night. We did not show that to you, but got quite toasty in the tent and it was quite comfortable. So until next time, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you then.